Hello guys and welcome back. In today's video I'll be doing Psy. And before we get started, if you enjoy gaming videos or my content in general, please subscribe so you don't miss out on any new videos. Plus it would really help my channel. Also, I would always love to hear what you think since I'm constantly looking to make better content. So please share your comments and opinions down below. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let's get started. Now let's talk about Psy. So Psy is a magic mod that allows you to get into programming your own magic spell. So all you will need is a spell programmer that you can program spells, and you have different layers of spells and you can make your own complicated items. The one thing really good about Psy is that it's easy to get into Psy, so it doesn't have much and it's not really complicated to get into, but it comes in all into making your own spells, and it has really cool spells. For instance, you can make here Sunder, or you can do a really cool spell where you go back in time, and it has a lot of different ideas and you can make your own unique ideas, which makes it really cool. Now the first thing if you want to get to Psy is that if you press C, that will open the book, which basically starts talking about the mod. So there's the basic and there's like tutorials that you can go through, and they explain to you how to get into the mod. Also there is the items, the materials, and everything about the mod. Now to get into the mod, the first thing you will need the iron CAD assembly, where you use it to make your mech, and to make that as simple as just for iron. Now second thing you will need is the CAD assembler, and that's how you insert things into your caster, so you can cast anything, and to make that just some iron and a pistol. Now when you get into that, the first thing you want to do is that when you put your pistol here and you turn it into a casting assistant device, right? Now after that you will hear that noise, and then you have your casting. Then you just want to get some redstone, and when you get some redstone you can turn, if you shoot at it, you can turn it into this dust, where Psy dust, and it will be the main thing that you will use to get into the mod. Also after using this you will get your mana, and this will be the first thing. Now moving on, using the dust you can make your spell programmer, and that's how you're gonna be able to program your own spell. So now let's just go to this. So, and when you have a spell programmer, you place it down and you can have on it a spell, and you can add a spell to it here, so as simple as anything, and you can build your own spell. Now I'm not gonna get into spells right now, we're gonna get into it later. Okay, now let's continue. Now getting into the mana, so you want to build some stuff so to have more mana and be able to cast a good spell. So you will need to have some small things here. So the first thing you will need is the basic CD core, and to make the core is just for iron and the dust in the middle, and you will also need a socket, and that's 2 iron and the dust, and lastly you will need a battery, and to make it you will be 1 gold, 1 dust, and 1 iron. And also you can upgrade your weapon. So after making an iron one, you can make a golden one, and to make that golden one, it's simple, it's the same recipe, just you switch to a different material, and now you can have the golden one. Now you can go to assembler, any assembler, and just put in it all of your items. So you see here, when I remove all of these, if you look at the right here, this is basically how strong my casting SSA is. If I add more things, it just makes it stronger, and then I can have it. Now to get to the next step, every time you want to get more into the mod, you need to upgrade your weapon so you can be able to handle it. Now let's go to the next tier. Now to go to the next tier, this is where you're gonna start making more spells. So the first spell you will need to make here is that you want to make the so to make this, you just shoot it normally. Now to make the new one, which is the abysmal iron, you will need a new trick, which is at the beginning of spells. So the first trick we will need is called trick infusion. So I need to delete that because I can only have one in my hand. What you want to add is the trick here. Just type trick infusion, and there is trick infusion. So that's the first level, and it says here trick infusion. Now to add it to my weapon, you will need to make bullets. So you can start with the normal bullet, which is spell bullet. It's just some iron and the dust, and let's get the bullet here done. And if I right click it, if you hear that noise, that means it works. that this spell works. So you need a sampler. You go to the sampler and you put on it the bullet, and now you have added the spell. So if you press here, so here it says infusion, which is my first one. So if I get gold, throw it on the ground, shoot it with my weapon. You see how that my mana is way lower, because this is because it takes so much mana for me to make this new material. Now using this new material you can make new upgrades. So all of these upgrades are gonna be same idea of like how to make same idea. You see here it's the same recipe, just the difference is that you're gonna need a better material. So you can get to choose between two cores here. So two cores. So the first one will give you complexity and projection. The second one will give you the same amount, the same things with different numbers. So it will be less here complexity or projection, here less complexity but more projection. Same thing goes for the sockets. There's two sockets that you can make. So you're gonna have to basically think about what you wanna make your spell. You have to think about accuracy, damage, or whatever you want, and that will make you can get to make multiple of ones here, multiple upgrades, and a new casting device, which is gonna be from the new material. You getting all of these things. So I'm gonna go here for one of them and going to my casting here and just adding all of these to have my new casting device, and let's just throw that, and that will make it, that's basically tier 2. So we have started with iron, which is tier 1, we upgraded to gold, which is tier 2, and then we can go here and go to tier 3. So to get to tier 3 you will have to use a new spell, which is to get to the diamond, and the new spell is called Trick Greater Infusion. So to use the Greater Infusion you will have to upgrade, because without upgrading yourself you won't be able to use that high of a level, and we need another bullet here. And also if you have a bullet here, let's get a bullet, and I just want to put the bullet here. So the bullet has no spells on it, I know that, and let's right click here and let's say trick. I want to type trick infusion here, and this is greater infusion, and now it works. If I have a bullet already, I say sneak and right click, I can just take the spell. And with trick greater infusion it's the same idea, just you need to be stronger to use it. You throw a diamond, you shoot at it, and you turn. And by the way, you can turn a stack or more at once, which is it's better to do that, better than using. Now using the diamond you can start creating new stuff. It's the same idea. Well, all of them have the same recipe. You can make new upgrades where they're gonna be a little bit stronger here. So you have upgrades for everything ever. Also, when you be able to make this, you can make your first armor, and we will get to this armor in a bit when the spell. So you can make armor. It's the same idea of the same recipe to build anything. It just you need the two materials, the ingot and the diamond shape item. And also you can make your tools here, and you can find recipes for all of these here in the items for everything. So the tools, everything, you can find it in your book, which you can craft or press C to open. Okay, now this is the item. Now to go to the best version of the weapons you will have to upgrade yourself, and to make that there's two new materials you can get. So the two materials here are the two materials. To make these you will need to use the last and the strongest trick, which is, let's go and get this trick on with us. So here let's go for a trick, and then here, yeah, the trick is right here. So this is the strongest trick, and this trick is a little bit expensive to use. So you need to have all of your upgrades. You need to upgrade all yourself to the highest thing, and you will get. So you turn the coal and cores to it, but this trick only works in the end. So let's still travel to the end here, and I just want to show you. So this one is a weak one. So let's just say I throw some coal here, and this one has 5,000, so it will work. Oh, see, my mana just ran out. I just want to throw that here. It needs around 3,000 mana. So if you have 3,000 you can still do it, and that will upgrade you to the new materials. And the same thing goes for the cord. You can shoot it and it will upgrade to the new material. Now let's go back home, and with these two materials you can make your strongest casting devices, which the two weird, and the two ones goes for efficiency and potency. So if you want one with more potency and one with more efficiency, and that's basically it. So that's you just upgrading yourself, your casting devices from the tier 1 iron to tier 2 to tier 3 to tier 4 casting devices, and you have your upgrades, which is 3 tiers. Okay, now let's move into making the spells, which is the main part about the mod. Now building the spells, you basically need to program the spell. If you press C and you go here to the tutorial, they will tell you that you can cast spells and you have different spells to cast, and they can give you some ideas. So the first one is move it, which they basically try to explain to you how to make a spell like this. So we're just gonna try to make this, which is the tutorial for spell move it. So this one is all about trying to move yourself. So let's get into the idea of how to make it. So the first thing you will want to start with is what they tell you is the trick. So basically a trick is your core spell, and you add a trick here. So I trick add motion. So basically this one, it explains you that it will move you. Okay, now after that you can understand to add something called a constant number. So if you click here and type number, you can add a constant number. It starts with 0 and you can just press any number and it will edit, and the number is basically how strong it is. So like if I want to give it to you, the advice is to start with 3 because you're weak at this time when you start making a spell. That's it. And then you make it, and when you look at your trick here, you usually understand how it works. So that this trick is asking you that I need speed, I need direction, and I need a target. So you just want to give it speed, direction, and target. So for here, when you go for the direction, you want to go for something called operator entity look. So this is your, it will be whatever you're looking at is gonna be your direction, and the target is gonna be select caster. So this is you, and the last thing you want it to end it with is a connector. So you connect your devices with, and you just move this trick add motion. You give it speed to the right, direction to the top, which is where you are going, and the target is right. And also you want to make the entity target to the left so you can connect it all around. And here, if I right click here, I can get it, which basically it gives me this momentum. Okay, now let's get into the next tutorial. So after that they will explain to you in this tutorial how it works and what is the meaning of all of these icons. So these icons represent everything. So they represent how much complexity, power, and it will need, your casting device and everything about it. After that, they give you another idea of how to make things, and I'm gonna go use these spells as the basic formation, and then we can move from there. Okay, so let's go for something like here, and this is the explosion. So the first thing that when you got explosion, it will tell you, it asks you just two things. It needs power and the position where you're gonna explode in. So power is simple, you just add a constant number and you give it. Now for the position, so if you want to make so the way that they explain it in the tutorial is that you wanted to shoot at where you're looking at. So the first thing you will add in the tutorial is that you want to add an arbitrator vector playcast, and this is basically gonna be the position. So for this to work, you will need a position, array, and a map. So the first thing is that you want to put here, the array is gonna be operator entity look, so where you're looking, and you're always gonna need that. And the second thing is entity position, gets an entity position, so this is gonna work from you. And the last thing is a caster. So so you wanna get the entity position to target the caster, and then you want the entity look to target the caster too, and then the array is gonna be the position, which is the entity position, and the array, which is the top, is the entity look. So this is how you work it. Now you don't even have to think about it too much, so let's just work with this spell and then I'll get into routing. So just like that, and you can blow up things. Right, now this is how to make the tutorial, the 6 which is the explosion and the move it turn. Now using these tutorials we can make cool things. So now this one, the idea of this one is that it makes trick and works with you on you, right? So this whole idea is that it boosts me. So what if I just get on this trick and just type trick, and let's see what, so there are a lot of different tricks. So there's here trick weakness, here is this trick strength. What if I add strength? So it's strength here is telling, so let's just go with the syntax. So this is gonna be the time for it, and it needs also power, so let's add power. So let's add another constant number using the same method, so looking at the middle one and thinking about it. So it needs time, we'll give it time. Let's give it another constant number here, and we'll say let's say also 3 doesn't, or so here is 3. So now we give it just 2 things. Now let's look at the, which is the last thing, is the target. Now let's try, for example, when we make the target to the top, it's 10 to the top, it doesn't work. So let's try to the right, it doesn't work still. So what if I make it different? I want to make it the same idea using the tutorial 4. So in tutorial 4, the way it worked is that it wanted to make the target here, it wanted to make the target to the caster, so it doesn't need the entity loop. So what if I just delete this and delete this and make it the target here is the entity caster. And done, and I just want to move the power down, and it's basically it. So now we just and I can just give myself. So yeah, right, this one is gonna be 2 weeks, so let's just get a stronger one. I'm just gonna, okay, so it says here that my CD stats is weak, so let's just go for something here weaker. So let's go for 2. So you don't want to go more than 350, which is your map. So let's go for 2 and use it, and then use the spell, and then get strength 2 for 30 seconds. So basically the whole idea is that what my trick needs is what my trick gonna get. It's the whole spell builds on your trick. So whatever your trick needs, you just try to supply that, and then you'll get. Now this is for a lot of this is an example for a buff. Now let's go for an example for them. So let's just change the trick here to trick, another trick here. Now we have a lot of different tricks here. So there's trick ignite. I'm gonna go for trick smite. So for smite, it only needs a position, so this basically is useless, you don't need that, and it works with the same idea of explosion. It works with it, and then we can just smite people. One more trick I want to talk about, which is this, it's just really cool, so I want to talk about here, in the tricks that you can use on yourself. Let's say a trick here, and you go actually I'm gonna just write trick time. So here takes the caster back in time, and this all it needs is just one simple thing, it just needs time. So let's give it time, that's it. It doesn't matter, this does not matter, all it just needs is time. And the way this works, so I give it 3 seconds, so let's just move around and use the spell, and you see we're just moving back 3 seconds in time. So like there's spells here can come really big, and you can just make it big and big, and you can connect 2 spells together, or you can create your own thing. And this is gonna be for with you using your own creativity, building your own spell. But this is how to just make the simple things, so you just build it on. So like using the same add motion spell, like, or the caster spell here, you can add the strength spell, which needs only like live or power, stuff like that. You have like resistance, you can have fire resistance, same idea. You can just change it from one to another, and it just goes into the creativity of how you do it. Now the last thing I want to talk about inside is the armor. So inside allows you to make some new armors, and it's the same idea of like making any vanilla armor. You just need the new material, and you can make your armor, and it's not really strong armor wise, but it's really good. And the reason that these materials, all of these are really good, is that you can implement into spells. So if you go here into the CD, so you can add your spells. You have 3 slots, you can add 3 different spells. You can't edit the armor itself, but you can add spell. So like I can just program a spell here, doesn't matter what spell, and you can just insert it in it. So you have to be creative about what kind of spells you want to use for it. So here spell selected, thunder, and this is what you can add. You can also add same idea, you can add a spell just for your weapon, or change it. So you can add like apply weakness when you hit. You can be creative with it. So it's really cool because you have tools which does specific things. You can add a spell for your pickaxe where it always breaks or collects or magnetizes item, whatever you want. And basically that's it for Psy. So you can do all of these things. So it's a really cool mod because you can easily get into the mod, and it has a lot of different cool ideas to me. So yeah, that's it for Sai. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Let me know down in the comments what kind of crazy magic programming spells you guys will create, and let me know. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Bye.